about the future of the opposition in Nigeria in upsetting the ruling All Progressive Congress, as a chieftain of the party has really revealed the secret on how they are going to claim victory in the election. And we're also going to show you that by that revelation, it is important that the opposition in Nigeria get it right. Now, the opposition in Nigeria today are being decimated from the inside. The opposition in Nigeria today are being decimated from the inside. There are saboteurs in the Labour Party who are doing everything possible to frustrate Peter Obi, the presidential candidate of the Labour Party in the last presidential election. There are also those who are inside the African Democratic Congress trying to destroy it from the inside. Now, that being said, and as Nigerians, particularly the opposition, begin to put their acts together to be able to challenge the ruling All Progressive Congress, we have gotten information on how the APC is planning to defend their victory against any allegation of election rigging. That is what we're going to share in this video. Some of the strategies that the APC want to use to defend what they will claim is their mandate by 2027. And what the opposition must do if they can be able to overcome this challenge, because this challenge is huge. Now, the APC came up with this strategy because they know that Nigerians are watching them bumper to bumper, and that the last election of 2023 that brought Tinubu to power, many Nigerians are yet to be convinced that Tinubu won that election fair and square, despite the verdict of the Independent National Electoral Commission and the Supreme Court that validated that election. Now, we're going to share the facts that they want to use to convince Nigerians that the 2027 election, that they won it fair and square. So this is the argument they are going to make. The argument they are going to make is that before the election, they have already won the election because they are controlling all the structures in Nigeria today. Okay, they are controlling all the structures in Nigeria today in terms of political structure. That every zone in Nigeria today is now an APC zone. That there is no zone in Nigeria today that is not under the control of the APC. That given that control, that it is difficult for APC to lose the 2027 election. That those that will cry that the election was rigged, that they will be crying for nothing because the APC had everything fixed for it to emerge victorious. For instance, this is the argument they are making. The argument they are making is that they have locked down all the political zones in Nigeria today. That they have locked down all the political zones in Nigeria today. That it is difficult for any opposition to be able to defeat Tinubu in any opposition presidential candidate because of how they have locked down all these zones in Nigeria. For instance, according to this revelation, they will claim victory in South Nigeria. Remember that in the last election, APC lost woefully in South Nigeria. But now they are saying that the APC, the argument in winning South in 2027 will be that that the APC is now controlling the South, a zone that he never won in 2023. Don't mind the controversial victory allocated to Tinubu in 2027, which was challenged by Peter Obi at the Supreme Court, and which independent verification by the BBC and the Premium Times indicated that it was actually Peter Obi that won the 2023 presidential election in Rivers State. Now, the argument they are making, they are going to make in 2027, when they declare victory that they won South, is that Delta is now APC because the governor has moved to APC. That Akwa is now APC because the governor has moved to APC with all of its structures. That Edo is now APC, and that Cross River is now APC, and that Rivers is now APC. You know that the governor of Rivers State, the governor of Rivers State, Fubara, Simi Fubara, has also recently defected to the APC, and Bayelsa is now APC. Now, these are states that were hitherto either PDP or Labour Party that won in the presidential election in that state, in this zone. Now, the APC say that their strategy is to say that given all these structures in the South that has collapsed under the APC, why should people be crying in 2027 that the election had been rigged when all these big men, the governors, the senators, the reps, and the assembly members, that they are all now in the APC? So that's the strategy they are using. That's part of the strategy they are using to show how they have locked down. So what I'm sharing with you is what they will say after the election. This is their strategy of how they are going to defend their victory in 2027 before the international community and before Nigerians. That, look, South that was not for them before is now under lock and key by the APC. Okay? Then they also bring up how they will defend their victory in the Southeast. The argument is similar to what they have in the South, that the Southeast has, with 5 states, out of that 5 states, APC is now dominating Southeast in terms of structure, because Enugu is now APC, Ebonyi is APC, Imo is APC, only Abia is Labour, and Anambra is ABGA. And already Anambra is no different from the other APC states in the Southeast. So Anambra is automatically APC in their calculation. You and I know also that the Anambra governor, Professor Chukwuma Soludo, ahead of the Anambra governorship election, when he visited the president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, he was insistent that there is a collaboration between the progressives, as he put it. So the ABGA, you see, they are not going to have a presidential candidate in 2027. ABGA is going to support Tinubu. They have already made that clear. And Soludo is the leader of ABGA. So the argument they are going to make is that the APC has made inroad even where they were not popular, like in the southeast and south-south, that APC, given that Enugu is APC, that Ebonyi is APC, Imo is APC, and the Anambra is dancing to the APC, that the defense they are going to make after the election will be that even before the election, Anambra Southeast had already fallen under the grip of the APC. Okay, that is what they are going to package to defend any claim, because what the APC, what this information is coming out to show is how they are going to defend their mandate, saying that they have won fair and square because of this dominance they have ahead of the election. Now, in the case of the Southwest, they say if you look at the Southwest now, that Lagos is APC, Ekiti State is APC, Ogun is APC, Ondo is APC, Oyo is PDP, and Osun is Accord. You know that Adeleke, Governor Adeleke, recently defected to the Accord. So it means that they say that Tinubu's hold on Southwest is like a fortress that there is nothing anybody can do about it. That Tinubu has Southwest in a lockdown. So when he wins, sweeps the Southwest, that nobody should complain that he rigged the election because they have the numbers. Tinubu has locked down the Southwest. Of course, you know that in the Southwest, in the last election, Peter Obi took Lagos, while Atiku Abubakar took Osun State. In fact, it was because of what Tinubu losing in these two strategic states, Lagos, where Tinubu was governor for 8 years, and Osun, that is believed to be his ancestral state, that made it difficult for Osun governor Adeleke to be allowed to defect to APC, because Osun governor wanted to defect to APC. For people who don't know, he wanted to defect to APC, but the governorship ticket of the APC is already reserved for the cousin of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, Oyetola. So there was no way for him. That's why he has to look for alternative. As PDP is in disarray, he don't know which faction to go and submit his form to. He now strategically moved to Accord Party. Okay, so in a nutshell, they are saying that the APC has locked down Southwest before the election. Now, in the North Central states, which has 6 states, they say Benue is APC, Niger is APC, Kwara is APC, Nasarawa is APC, Kogi is APC, only Plateau is PDP. So they're going to say also that they dominated North Central, that APC is in charge of North Central. So there's no way they cannot win it. So anybody who is planning to protest or say that they rigged the election in 2027 in North Central better be aware that they have what it takes to win there. So what they are trying to do, they are playing mind game with Nigerians. Say, look, this is how we're gonna, what happened. So this is how they are going to defend their victory. Because what they are already doing, they feel that the election is already in the bag. So it is how to defend it. Don't forget that they struggled to defend the last election. They struggled. They even have to, Lai Mohammed and co, they have to travel outside Nigeria to go and convince the international community that the APC truly won that election. It was in one of those travels that Lai Mohammed told the international community that it was the Independent National Electoral Commission that deliberately switched off the transmission of result. The so-called glitches was a deliberate act of the Independent National Electoral Commission. But he said that it was done to prevent attack, a cyber attack on the server of INEC. But Amazon Web Services that provides the backbone protection for the Independent National Electoral Commission said there was no attack throughout that election against INEC. Because Peter Obi brought a forensic expert from Amazon Web Services, a former staff of the Web Services, who came and testified that there was no attack on the INEC server to warrant switching off the transmission of the presidential election result, which it was alleged that Peter Obi was cruising home to victory before that was switched off. Now, they also look at Northeast. Northeast, their defense will be in the Northeast, that Northeast with 6 states, that Borno is APC, that Yobe is APC, Taraba PDP, Gombe APC, Adamawa PDP, and Bauchi PDP. Now, their verdict is going to be that in Northeast, that APC has equal share with the PDP. So if after the election you heard that in the Northeast that the APC won, you shouldn't be surprised, that because APC is controlling 3 governors, has 3 governors in the Northeast, while PDP has 2 governors. And even the 3 governors, and even the PDP governors in the Northeast, like the PDP governors in the Northeast, they are not very strong in terms of in showing support to the opposition. For instance, the Adamawa governor, he is not even in the same bed with Atiku Abubakar, who is from that state. He has refused to defect to ADC with Atiku Abubakar. Okay? He was thought to be one of the governors that Atiku was waiting for to be able to defect to ADC with him to bring in a governor. But the man didn't want to defect. The man is a very close ally of Nyesom Wike. In Taraba State, the Taraba governor is even one leg inside APC, one leg inside PDP. He is about to defect. Okay? So, in their mind, the argument is that APC is solid in the Northeast. Don't forget that Northeast is also the state of Vice President Kashim Shettima. So the argument is that they are going to say APC had what it takes to take Northeast. So nobody should complain that the election of 2027 had been rigged. Then Northwest, they also said are going to defend the vote in the Northwest under the argument that the Northwest is dominated by the APC. For instance, they are going to say that Katsina is APC, Jigawa is APC, Sokoto is APC, Kebbi is APC, Kaduna is APC, Zamfara is PDP, Kano is NNPP. But the verdict they're going to show is that tell the international community, look, we have more state governors in the Northwest than the opposition. So any argument that the election was rigged in 2027 is not true. They have it already in the bag. So their map, their political map ahead of 2027 is that the APC is controlling the national political terrain, state by state, region by region. So anybody who is going to be arguing that the 2027 election is rigged, they already have a defense in advance to protect their victory, to defend their victory at home and abroad. Now, what does this information mean for the opposition? What does this information mean for the opposition? Because right now, they have everything well planned on how they are going to defend their victory in 2027. What about the opposition? What is their strategy to counter this? Because as I talk to you now, the opposition appears to be in disarray on who should lead the opposition against a very unpopular APC administration. So who will lead? Who will be in charge? As APC has a strategy on how to defend their victory in 2027, how are you going to do it? And the opposition is facing a serious problem, whether we like it or not. Let me shock people. The challenge before the opposition cannot be compared to the challenge that faced the opposition ahead of 2015 election. Because when the opposition before the 2015 election coalesced into a political party called the APC, they were stronger than what we have today in the opposition in Nigeria. They were stronger. Don't forget that the original parties or the legacy parties that formed the APC, they had some governors. They had some governors. But now you have a situation where the opposition, the ones that are credible, forget about the PDP. We're talking about the Labour Party and the ADC. The Labour Party and the ADC, they are in a situation, including the PDP, that they don't have governors who are with them. I will tell you the importance of where I'm headed to. The governors who are with them. Okay? Because where I'm leading you will tell you why Peter Obi will be the only option if the opposition want to overcome this challenge that the APC posed. Remember that the legacy parties that made up of APC was made up of ANPP, ABGA, CPC, and ACN or AC. They had governors. For instance, you know that ahead of the 2023 election, Lagos governor was under the APC. They had a governor in Lagos State. APC had a governor in Ogun State. They had a governor in Oyo State. They had a governor in Osun State. They had a governor in Edo State. They had a governor in Yobe State. They had a governor in Zamfara State. So they were not under the kind of situation that the opposition, ADC and Labour and PDP is having today. So they have about 7 governors. That's, they have Lagos, Ogun, Oyo, Osun, Edo, Nasarawa, Imo, Borno, Yobe, Zamfara. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 governors. That's the original people that form APC. They had 10 governors. Now Atiku Abubakar, ADC, has no governor. Peter Obi's Labour Party has 1 governor. The PDP themselves, that party is doubtful whether they will even have a presidential candidate the way things are going. So the whole thing will revolve around Peter Obi and Atiku Abubakar in determining who can be able to challenge the APC. Now, coupled with that, there were defections from the PDP that boosted the APC at that time. You have Governor Amechi from Rivers. You have Abdul Fattah Ahmed from Kwara. You had Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso from Kano and Aliyu Wamako from Sokoto. 4 more governors from PDP joined them. So they were able to have some kind of leverage, APC at that time when they were challenging the PDP. And coupled with the fact that there were people that remained in the PDP that were working against the PDP, against President Goodluck Jonathan. So you can see that the current opposition in Nigeria is in a serious trouble if they don't come out with a candidate that has grassroots support, that does not have baggage to be able to challenge Tinubu in 2027. So when you look at how these things are structured now, if you don't have a candidate that can be able to win without structures, then the APC will have a home run. Already they have this secret information is how they are going to defend their vote, how they are going to defend it before the international community, how they are going to defend it everywhere within Nigeria. Already they have a lot of people trained to be all over social media. These people are going to defend this. The way I'm putting it is how they are going to defend it. So what is the solution? We know that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, go and check, any information is having the lowest approval rate for any president in Nigeria's history. So if a free and fair election is done, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu could be easily defeated if the right candidate is nominated by the opposition parties, and all of them rally around that opposition party, or the opposition, because 2027 election will be like a referendum. It is the Nigerian people versus the APC. On paper, it looks good for them to defend the APC as they are doing. But what will be the verdict? Because election is one man, one vote. If the election is free and fair, if the right candidate is brought out to challenge Tinubu, then it is possible that Tinubu could be defeated, despite all these structures they are claiming, all these governors, because they are equating the defection of governors to the ownership of that state. But it is not necessarily so. Because if you look at the last election in 2023, Peter Obi was the only candidate that has no structure. Atiku had structure. That PDP structure that Atiku rode on has collapsed. It's in tatters. For the first time in Atiku's political history, he is running an election without any single structure. He is running an election without a single structure. When he contested for president in 2027, through alliance with Tinubu, at least he had a governor. He had a governor in the person of the Tinubu himself. Okay? Now, Atiku is in an uncharted territory. If you go and watch Atiku's video, what he was saying about Peter Obi ahead of the 2023 election, he was railing out the fact that Peter Obi has no structure, no single local government chairman. At that time, Atiku Abubakar has structure. The structure he had was structure of Yeso Wike being governor of PDP in Rivers. They were listing the PDP governors. There were many. But now, those structures no longer exist. So Atiku is going to be running the election on his own capacity. He's going to face the kind of challenge Peter Obi faced in 2023, when Peter Obi had no single structure, so-called. And without any structure, Peter Obi was able to garner 10 million votes, which he presented to the Supreme Court on how he won it. The Supreme Court did not agree with him, but nobody can deny that Peter Obi did not present evidence that he won that election. All you need to go and look at the court papers. Peter Obi also prayed that they should declare him the president of the country because he won the election fair and square. He presented evidence. That evidence did not convince the Supreme Court. Okay? But there are many people who believe strongly that Peter Obi won, not minding the verdict of the Supreme Court. Thank you, my brother. You're welcome. Say thank you. You're welcome. So that is it. It is Peter Obi that was able to show that you don't have to have a governor on your side. You don't have to have senators on your side. You don't have to have House of Reps members, local government chairman, and what have you, for you to be able to win election, a presidential election in Nigeria. So basically, when you look at it critically, you see that the opposition will be making the biggest mistakes of their lives if they do not rally around Peter Obi, because he is the only candidate between Atiku Abubakar that has shown that he is well equipped to confront a situation where the candidate has no structure. That is the truth. The truth. He was the one that demystified the issue of structure. And he is the one that is from southern Nigeria. Because what is needed now is another southerner to confront Enugu. The worst mistake that they want to make, and is being championed by people like Dele Momodu, is that the claim that Atiku is the only one who can beat Tinubu. Osula, I see you. So, Osula, I see you. Thank you very much. So, the worst mistake that the APC or the ADC or the opposition will make is not to give Peter Obi the ticket and rally around him and begin to think that they're going to do anything better than Peter Obi. Because Peter Obi was able to show that you can be victorious, especially in an election of this nature where you don't have structures. Atiku does not have the charisma of Peter Obi. He doesn't have the charisma of Peter Obi. So he doesn't have, Sukuka, I've seen you, thank you very much. He doesn't have the charisma of Peter Obi. He doesn't have the charisma of Buhari. The late Buhari was another leader that you can use and be able to upstage the opposition, the ruling party, in the situation that we found ourselves. Why was that possible? Because Buhari has antecedents of not being like the other politicians. Exactly what we are seeing in Peter Obi. So that when you bring out Peter Obi, his selling point is that he's not like the rest. He's not like Tinubu. He's not like the traditional politicians. Because if you are looking for a real change, the kind of change Nigerians are looking for, you don't look further than somebody like that. But if the opposition are still sleeping, they are still debating between Atiku and Peter Obi what to do, then they will be wasting their time, because this APC, they already have their strategy, how to defend their victory ahead of the election. They have the map already on how they are going to defend their result. And for you to be able to defeat them, you must be able to present a candidate that has grassroots support, that is going to be different, that people are ready to die for them on the polling unit to defend their vote. So this information that is coming out on how APC has allegedly mapped out how to defend their victory by claiming that before the election they had already locked down all the geopolitical zones. That strategy can only be stopped by a popular candidate that has grassroots support. Because whether we like it or not, the 2027 election is going to be a referendum on the APC and President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And the result is not looking nice for them in terms of what people are saying on the streets. The verdict on the streets is that the 2027 election is not going to be easy for the APC to win it. It's going to be difficult. It's going to be tough for them. Excuse me. It's going to be tough for them. They can't win it if you have a candidate that can be able to be shown to be better and different than Tinubu. So basically what this means is that the opposition have to understand that they have a problem. Are they aware that they have a problem? I have shown you here that ahead of the 2015 election, the APC was having several governors on their side. And having several governors means that they had people with a lot of money to be able to throw a good challenge against the ruling PDP at that time. Now, the opposition we have, they don't have any governor, except for Peter Obi that has electorate of Abia State. None of them have any governor on their side. None of them. Amechi doesn't have any governor on his side, basically. So the whole thing is narrowed down to Atiku and Peter Obi. But Atiku is the one that is showing much more interest against the zoning arrangement, the unwritten zoning agreement in Nigeria, whereby the presidency is rotated between North and South. Atiku Abubakar is insisting on contesting. But it's not even that he's insisting that is the major problem. It is the fact that the political climate today doesn't favor him, because he has never been tested in a contest where he doesn't have structure. But the 2027 election is an election that the opposition presidential candidate is going to head, challenge the APC and Tinubu without any visible structure. The way that APC has packaged themselves now, they package themselves that, look, we have the structures, we have the governors, we have the senators, we have locked down all the geopolitical zones. So how can you defeat them? You can only defeat them by framing the next election that is not about party. It is about the long-suffering Nigerian people versus the APC versus Tinubu. And who is the best person, who is well equipped to be able to defeat Tinubu? Peter Obi is the person that is best suited, because Peter Obi has not only defeated Tinubu where he mattered most. Peter Obi defeated him in Lagos, defeated him in Abuja, defeated him in southern Nigeria, and many other places. Peter Obi was the one that, without structure, and won 13 states. It was unthinkable that he could be able to do that. Even his own governor, Professor Soludo, was mocking him that Peter Obi can only manage to win Anambra State because of affinity of the Anambra people with him, being an indigene of Anambra State. But Peter Obi was like a tsunami. And what is going to happen in the next election is going to be a tsunami if you have the right candidate. Already there are things that are piling up that will help a candidate like Peter Obi. Look at the tax they're going to start collecting from January. That tax they are going to start collecting is a blessing in disguise for the opposition if they have the right candidate. That tax is to remind Nigerians how the APC have enslaved them. And Peter Obi has a solution. He has his own tax ideas on how it can be implemented without the kind of APC tax that is coming up, that will make most Nigerians to cry when it starts. But how do you need a face, you need somebody to be able to be the face of the opposition. The opposition, they are wasting a lot of time. They are wasting a lot of time. One, they are yet to agree where the presidential candidate will come from, which is a big minus for them. But there is no doubt that if the ADC is serious, their presidential candidate should come from the South. That is also expected from Labour Party and all the other political parties, if truly they are serious about seeing out the PDP, the APC in 2027 and ending the suffering of Nigerian people. Are they ready to do that? Are they ready to make such a sacrifice? Already, this information we have shared today, thank you very much. I see you, Noble. I see you, Noble. Welcome. So basically, what the opposition must admit is that they are not like the opposition against Jonathan. The opposition against Jonathan was much more formidable. They had a lot of money with all the governors that they had that was able to compete with the ruling PDP. Right now, you need a candidate that people are ready to spend their money to support. You understand? You know how it happened in 2015, where despite all these governors that the APC had, people were donating money because they were the underdogs financially. They were donating money to Buhari. Women frying akara were donating to the campaign fund of Buhari. Between Atiku and Peter Obi, who do you think the market women will donate money to? Because they believe that it's going to do something different. Do you think market women frying akara, women selling corn by the roadside will contribute money for Atiku Abubakar to go and change Tinubu. I don't think so. You need a candidate that people are ready to defend their vote with whatever it takes. Who they believe that if only we can allow him to get there. If these 4 years he's going to stay will mark a remarkable change in Nigeria's political trajectory. That's the kind of candidate you need. You don't need somebody like Atiku Abubakar, who is part of the establishment and all that. If you go with Atiku, it's easy for these people to claim this victory. They have already outlined how they are going to defend East. And that's it. That is what needs to be done. If the opposition, they are not careful, the Tinubu strategy and how they are going to defend their vote, their victory through the public relation, locally and internationally, has been made clear now. It is now, the onus is on the opposition. First of all, they must acknowledge that their own situation now is different from the time of 2015. In 2015, the opposition had a lot going for them, which is no longer the case, and which is not the case. They had a lot going for them, which is not the case now. Now you have a situation where the opposition is in a situation that Peter Obi found himself in 2023. And therefore, Peter Obi is experienced on how to run without structure. Atiku is inexperienced on how to run without structure. He had been running elections since 2007 based on structure. When the structure is not strong, he performed abysmally. Go and check the result of the 2007 election when he was the candidate of ACN under where Tinubu was the leader. What was his achievement? Even Buhari, who has no structure, who had no governor, who have no nothing, did better than Atiku Abubakar, who contested as the vice president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. People have to know this history. They have to know this. Atiku contested as a sitting vice president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria under the ACN. But Buhari, who contested from the opposition, another opposition party, got more votes than him. It's showing you that when it comes to election without structures, which is this election we are entering to in 2027, Atiku performed abysmally. So you need a candidate that has structure, a candidate that can lock down some geopolitical zones. Okay? Like Peter Obi can be able to lock down some geopolitical zones and still get nationwide support, because the country is literally dying for a new Nigeria that will be different for what we have right now. The onus is now on the opposition to acknowledge that the situation today is not like in 2015. That this is a new territory, and who can best be able to solve this problem of staging the ruling APC, with all the money they have, and with all the governors they have, and with all the senators they have, and with all the House of Reps members they have to sit down and think. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy. But they already have a blueprint from Peter Obi, the man who executed the unprecedented election haulage of votes, 10 million votes in his first attempt as a presidential candidate. If you disregard that, if they disregard that, it means that they are not serious about taking over from the ruling, APC. That's my take. I don't know what you think about the revelation we shared in this channel, in this live, on how the APC have prepared to that they are going to win, how they are going to defend their votes, what they are going to do to show that even before the election, they have locked down the country zone by zone. But this election that is coming can be easily won by a candidate that has a mass appeal, because the election is going to be between the APC, between Tinubu and the rest of Nigerians. It's going to be a referendum. But for it to be a referendum that can work and lead to the victory of the opposition and the victory for the Nigerian people, you have to present the right candidate. In this channel, we have tried to show that Peter Obi is the right candidate. Let it not be an opportunity that it is missed, That's my take. Now, as this live is about to end, the conversation continues after it at the comment section. Thank you for watching this video. And if you are new to my channel, you have not yet subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to my channel, hit the subscription button, hit the notification bell. When you subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell, anytime I have a new video, you'll be among the first to know. God bless you. And please don't forget to like this video, because when you like it, Google will rank it high and recommend it for more people. Thank you, and God bless you.